Well, a very good morning to you all, and hello everyone. My name is Kanishk, and I am an alumni of ANU. I recently finished my master's in international management from the College of Business and Economics, and I will be your host for this session. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our postgraduate study here at ANU, and we have four panel members today who are currently postgraduate students and alumni who would take the opportunity to offer you some valuable insights about study and life at ANU. So I would like you to introduce all the panel members now, so starting from Naomi, Johan, and Lauren. Hello, everyone. How are you guys?
Good. How are
Thank
you?
Good, thanks.
Well, all right. So quickly, before I start, I would like to provide my introduction. As you know that I've recently graduated, and one such experience that I would like to share as a postgraduate student is about my tenure as a social officer at the Postgraduate and Research Student Association at ANU. Now, you must be wondering what exactly is postgraduate or research students. So it is commonly known as PASA, which is a peak student representative body for ANU and for all the postgraduate and HDR, which is the higher degree by research, or we also known as PhD students. And any student who enrolls a course here at ANU in a PG or a PhD program automatically becomes a member of PASA and can avail all the services and events and activities that we provide. My experience was fantastic because as a social officer, I was very passionate about events and activities, and I was able to do all of them at once and actually build a little bit more on my leadership skills and by conducting and keeping the community intact. So what we're going to do in this session today is I'm going to be asking one question to each of our panel members today, and they will be sharing their insights with you and giving you some valuable tips and tricks on how the ANU student life and study works here. So let's get started, guys. So my first question is for Lauren. So Lauren, you're an alumni and you've graduated from ANU, so you would know this better than any of us. So can you tell us how ANU can open new doors and offer students some unique experiences in the field? So can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Sure. So my experience with the ANU has predominantly been through doing a Juris Doctor, which I graduated from a few years ago. So I am an alumni. The reason I came to ANU was for the Law Reform and Social Justice Centre that's offered as part of the College of Law at the ANU. And that was a really important experience for me to be able to volunteer in a program that's as unique as the Law Reform and Social Justice Centre. It just doesn't exist at other unis the way that it exists at ANU. And it gave me the opportunity to look at social justice issues, which was a key reason as to why I wanted to study law, and look at volunteering opportunities in a whole range of different areas. The project that I was involved with and ended up leading was the Community Legal Education Project, which community legal education essentially means looking at rights, responsibilities, areas of law, and educating people in the community about what their rights and obligations are, whether that's police powers, sex and consent, a whole bunch of different areas, refugee rights, those sorts of things. So we would go out into schools mostly to talk about that. For me, that was a huge turning point because it was something I realized I was really passionate about, and that led me to do an internship through the ANU on community legal education and its value at Legal Aid ACT. And that led to me being employed by Legal Aid ACT as a community legal education coordinator. And now I'm a solicitor there. And part of my role is still community legal education as a solicitor, but also as family violence lawyer, a civil lawyer, a whole range of other areas of law. But community legal education, I wouldn't have ended up where I am now if it was not for the ANU's Law Reform and Social Justice Centre that really changed my mind about what practicing law could look like.
Wow, that's thank you so much, Lauren. It definitely gives us a lot of information about your experiences and opportunities that one can get when they graduate from ANU. I would like to move on and ask my next question to Johan. Hello, Johan.
Yeah.
So,
hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. So I guess you're completing your short course on a part-time basis in order to shift careers. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So I was in the hotel industry, last year. So I'll just be changing careers, basically.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Mm.
Well, so what advice would you like to give to the audience here today who might be thinking of taking the plunge?
Yeah, I think with COVID last year, so I was in the hotel industry in Melbourne, and I feel that with all of that, there comes opportunity for change. So I think if you are thinking about it, I know for me, with the field of marketing, it was something I was always interested in and perhaps didn't have a lot of exposure to. So I think with these times comes these opportunities. And I think it's great to get in touch, ask lots of questions, work out exactly what you want to do, and then get involved with the course. And once you are a part of it, there's great sort of support systems in place. I think one of the first things I did when I arrived was go to one of the PASA drinks or welcome drinks, which was great. So there's a great sense of community, I believe. And then as well in other areas of support for myself, I'd finished studying about 10 years ago. So, after you stop for so long, you come back and there's obviously things like referencing and essay writing, and you often need a bit of a refresh. So I did find things like student services to be great. CBE also has workshops which can then help you with your resumes and things like that for when you move beyond that. But yeah, I think it's been great. As you can see, for me now, if I did decide to stick purely with hotel management, obviously Canberra is once again in lockdown. One thing I was looking at doing was moving back to Canberra and working in hotels. Obviously, I feel for everyone that's in that situation, but I think it's a great constant to have as you're going through. I found the online system to be really useful and great, really. So, yeah, I think, my main advice is to ask questions, get involved. And if you can, also, I feel it's great to get involved in some societies as well, as there's lots of different things there for different interests. So, yeah.
Well, absolutely. Very well said, Johan. To all our attendees, I would just like to touch base about, what Johan just said. We've got at ANU, we've got more than 150 clubs and societies which are available for all postgraduate members to join. And even though if you are interested in any of the things that you don't have a club or association for, you can definitely form a group and a club by yourself. So as I always say to anyone who comes and asks me about ANU is filled with opportunities. It is a land of opportunities where you can get whatever you can. And ANU offers a lot of support services that we have available as students that we can avail and actually help ourselves build our career path. So I would like to move on and ask my next question to Naomi. Naomi, hello.
Wow.
Hi. So as you know, Naomi, many students like you conduct complete research projects on their master's degree itself. Can you tell us more about your experience here? How has this impacted you, and what was it like to work on a research project?
Absolutely. So coming in to do my master's, I had a not so great experience with research in my undergraduate years. And so I was kind of focused on just completing my coursework and getting through. But then I happened to take a course that was like a research proposal class. And I worked with a professor down in the John Curtin School of Medical Research. And I mean, I've always been interested in malaria research. The area where I'm from, it's a really big problem there. So it's kind of been something that's always been close to my heart, if you will. But that also then led me down the path of actually doing a whole year, which I'm doing now, completing a research project. And luckily enough, I'm actually focusing on malaria vaccines in the general field of immunology. And I think the greatest thing for me so far is I didn't quite realize just how strong the ANU's research capabilities were, if you will. And I think one thing that I've really noticed here is that there are larger institutes around the world, of course, and also in Australia that are doing really good research. But the ANU's maybe quirk, but also blessing, is that it's a small field compared to those places. But I think that there's a really high impact, and the research that we do here is really, really far reaching outside of the borders of Australia. I think a lot of ANU research is good, top quality research. And obviously that doesn't just come by innate sense of understanding what you have to do, but there's actually a really, really good support system for new researchers I've found. All the supervisor that I've worked with and all the academic staff have been really, really helpful in terms of helping new researchers understand what it's like entering the field, the expectations, but also ways that you can improve on your own. Of course, like Johan was saying before, there's a myriad of resources which I have been using the whole year. There's help with like anything, right? There's help with writing, there's been help with my statistics. I've got some help from the library and how to search for papers that are like relevant to what I'm studying, that sort of thing. And I found that no one is like hesitant to help. Everyone is just like trying to contribute how they can to help students be successful. So far, I've really enjoyed my research. It's been a really big blessing. I think it's been a really interesting aspect of my learning at ANU, simply because it gives like a different insights, but also depth to the stuff that you study in class. So it's been a really interesting way to kind of like look at what I'm doing, specifically immunology. So to look at what I've learned on paper and to see how that applies to the experiments that I design and interpreting my results and that sort of like wider implication for what this means for the field, I think has been a really interesting way to go about the year. And I'm specifically talking about science research, but most of my friends who are in other fields of research have also had similar experiences where they feel that the work that they're doing is not only interesting, but also really valuable. And I think this is the one thing about ANU that I'm definitely going to take away with me for the rest of my life.
Well, thank you so much, Naomi. It was a very well-detailed explanation on how your research project would look like and how a research project in general would look like for any PG students who will be commencing here at ANU. So since we have a little bit more time for our audience to share more insights with, I would like to ask all our panel members one by one top tip that you would like to provide to all the attendees today, and in terms of how they want to, if they are commencing a PG course here at ANU, so what top tip they would want to have. I'll start with Lauren because we started with Lauren itself, so we'll just go back again with Lauren. And what's your top tip that you want to provide to all our attendees today?
I suppose my top tip would be that it's really important to get involved, and whether that means through programs, whether that means talking to the people that are sitting next to you or asking questions of the people that you're studying with, whether that's virtually or in person, that's really important. Because I found that now as a practicing lawyer, the people that I asked questions of and did group study with and had group assignments with while I was at ANU, they're now the people that are in court with me and the people that are on the other side of matters and the people that when I get really stuck, I can call and ask legal questions about, because they do that area of law all the time and I don't, because we're all in different things now. So those connections that you make, the friendships are really important, and they translate into professional connections that when you're studying something like I did, like law, Canberra's really small. Everyone knows everyone. And so those connections that you make and the people that you befriend along the way are really important. So it is worth putting in the effort to get to know the people around you, because that will help you so much later on.
Well, thank you so much, Lauren. And as speaking of connections, I would like to touch base a little bit on how PASA also provides you an ample of opportunities to make connections and get involved. My job itself was to see as a social officer that how the community is engaged all together and how we can support the community in the best way possible. So I remember we had a lot of events and activities which were done online and on campus both, just to support our community. And we had so many postgraduate students that I have met with now and in the past and even in future. So it was a very good opportunity, and I would really recommend to all our attendees when they commence the PG course here at ANU, do attend all the events and activities that happen online or offline, depending upon your convenience. So Johan, can we have your tip for the panel, for the attendees today?
Yeah, well, I guess similar to Lauren is to get involved. And I also just want to stress, I know I spoke a lot about different support available. Obviously now with Canberra in lockdown, it is very much something you can gain online as well. So I found the way the classes and courses are set up for myself very accessible, very easy, and not so much easy, but you are able to, communicate with your cohort, etc. So yeah, so I guess the main thing is just to take hold of the support available, and similar to what Lauren said, is to get involved as much as you can, and when you can, is to be involved in events and things on campus. It's lots of fun.
Well, thank you so much, Johan. Let's come to Naomi now, and let's see what is her top tip.
So my top tip was going to be Lauren and Johan's top tips, but I guess it's relevant. You should get connected. I think for me, especially, the one thing that I would say is that the perk of being connected to the people around you is that you're coming to university to learn. And like, while you're doing that in your courses as a postgraduate student, obviously that's really intense. There's also room to learn like self-growth as a person, to connect to people who are from a country you've never been to, or who have a worldview that you've never considered. And I think that this is something that's really interesting about university campuses in general. And I understand that as a postgraduate student, sometimes you're kind of, tunnel vision. You came in to do what you came in to do. But while you're here, you might as well take advantage of these things. And I think my top tip is definitely just to be connected to people, for the benefits that it has past graduation, of course, but also for just things that you can learn from another person. And ultimately, you've already paid your tuition. And so I definitely encourage you to use all of the resources available on campus. They're only here for students to use. So no harm, no foul. I think while you're at ANU, just make the most of your time here and grab whatever you can before it's over, because it does get over pretty quick.
Well, thanks, Naomi. Well, you guys have, mentioned a lot about getting connected and getting involved. Now, we all know that, there's a pandemic going on, and things have, definitely changed with the way we used to have it before. So do you guys still think that, it's still able to achieve online and offline both? If you get a chance to get connected in terms of, engagement and other activities that you have available and support services that you have here at ANU. So do you guys think that, it is available for online students as well? And it would be, what sort of difference do you think you would have when it comes to offline or online? I would like to ask Johan for this one, because I guess, Johan, you recently started and you have an experience of online and offline both, right?
Yeah. I'd say it definitely takes more discipline. So it's much more on you to make it work. But with that, there are benefits to it as well. I mean, you can obviously do your lectures when it pleases. But the main thing is, it does take more discipline. And like we've all sort of mentioned, it is a matter of getting involved. And that, is definitely relevant to online as well. So, I find the lecturers to be amazing, very friendly. So you can always send emails as you need, and you'll find through the Zoom lectures you can get to know others, and obviously with group assignments, you can still form those connections. It's obviously, I think it's obviously being in class is the dream really, but at the same time, I think it's set up, I'd say, as good as it can be, and I think there's definitely still the support there for you.
Well, anybody else who would like to add on quickly, because we're running a bit short on time?
I'll add. Sorry, Naomi, you can go if you like. I was just going to say that I have done online and in-person study, and the GDLP, which is the last part of what you study, is purely online when I did it. So I do have both experiences, and there is a way to study online that is really quite isolating. I found that in group assignments where you just email things and it's all very just you do your work and you don't really collaborate. But I found that when you took the effort to do the phone calls and the Zoom calls and really put the effort into getting to know the people in your group with as much face-to-face online interaction as you can, it really did make a difference, because you felt like you knew them a lot better. If you opted the really easy and sometimes more efficient way, but the really easy way of just emailing things, you won't get the same experience. So I think there is a way to do it where you do feel more connected, and you've got to put the face-to-face time in, and that can be through Zoom.
Thank you, Lauren. Naomi, would you just want to conclude in one sentence if you have to?
I was just going to say all of the support systems are available online, so don't let that stop you.
Perfect. Well, this actually concludes our session now. I would like to thank you all our attendees, as well as our panel members, for joining here and getting some insights and sharing with all our attendees today. for all our attendees, I would like to encourage you to look more on the INU Open Day website and look more about the content, on-demand content that is available to you. And thank you all for joining again. And I hope you all stay well and safe. Thank you so much, panelists. Bye.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Bye.